What you're seeing here is the Disney Store Track Damage Cruz, released at the beginning of 2018 by the Disney Store. What you're seeing a review of today is the Mattel version of Track Damage Cruz, released in late 2020 as part of the first official wave of 2021. I just think that it's really interesting that the Disney Store did this cruise so early on, compared to Mattel, who did it 3.5 years after Cars 3 was released. Honestly, considering just how minor of a variant it is, only appearing in the movie for a few minutes after Cruz is pushed up against the wall by Jackson Storm, I think it makes more sense to release it a few years after the movie instead of like half a year afterwards. I just find it pretty interesting. Another interesting thing is the fact that they had the same name, except I believe this cruise was labeled as Track Damaged, compared to this one, which is just Track Damage. Unfortunately, though, it seems that neither of these two are able to replicate the amount of damage done to Cruz in the movie. Anyway, guys, welcome back to yet another review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Mattel Track Damage Cruz from the 2021 Cars diecast line. As I just said, yeah, I'm a little disappointed by the lack of damage on this Cruz. I mean, she is pretty beaten up on the side here, but if you look at the artwork, she is just completely scratched up on the side. The Lightyear writing is gone from her wheels. I just wish that she was a little bit more scraped up. I really, really love the fact that this Cruz is given her own artwork. I never would have expected that. I would have expected to just have them use the regular Rusty's Cruz artwork, but I'm so glad that they didn't, and they went on to give this Cruz her own picture, which honestly, this might be my favorite artwork they've ever used for Cruz so far. It kind of reminds me of how the Muddy Rusty's Racing Center McQueen had its own artwork, which also surprised me. Of course, alongside the rest of the cars in the 2021 line, Mattel really wants to let you know that these guys are in fact metal. And again, I just want to point out how much I love these new name tags with the red and the white text. Of course, we have the things that are new for 2021. And on the back, you can see, as seen in Cars 3, the back of her is exactly the same as the back of Floyd Morgan. You got Smokey, Jackson Storm, Jambalaya, Chimichanga, the Bumper Save Tractor, HJ Pushover Jr., or Hot Rod Jr., and Sheldon. And the nice thing about this is that all of these cars were released in this wave. I like that they did that. It shows you what cars are actually currently out now. A lot of times they'll show you upcoming releases, which is really nice too, but I like how everyone on this car's back is one that you could potentially find at the same time you find her. So let's take this Cruz here out of the package, and I'm actually going to do a comparison between her and the regular Rusty's Cruz. So here is Track Damage Cruz out of the package, and one of the first things I noticed with her compared to the other Cruzes is that her mouth is colored in black instead of in white, which most of the other Cruzes have their mouths colored in white. I don't think my Rusty's Cruz has her mouth colored in at all, though. Anyway, though, she was given a different expression than normal Rusty's Cruz, which is another nice touch. She looks more like curious almost, a little bit more sad. Definitely an interesting expression, but I'm very glad it's different from regular Rusty's Cruz. And moving on to the side, you can see the damage is more than just what was on this side, which I'm surprised to see and very glad to see. That's on the Disney Store version of this car also. You could see some marks on the side, which are probably meant to represent the tire marks from Jackson Storm. Almost like the rubber has come off of Jackson's tires and onto the side of Cruz. Really nice touch with the dirt detailing here at the bottom, which you could also see on this side from the paint being scraped up. I really like those smaller details that were actually missing from the Disney Store car, but you could see if you take a look at her artwork, they definitely should be there. You've got the Rusty's 95, basically unobstructed from the track damage, although of course her name is covered up by the tire marks. Unfortunately, the Lightyear writing is not scratched up like it is on the artwork. I'd be very surprised if they did do that though, but that would have been nice. Moving on to the back, you see even more dirt specks, which is just a really nice touch. This is the first time they've really done that on one of the race cars, although throughout all of Cars 3, the race cars are constantly covered with these dirt specks, so nice to see that represented on at least one diecast. See how the 5 continues over here and becomes like a winding road, sort of a zigzag pattern. Just got a logo here that says CRS, number 95 there, even more dirt specks. And moving on to the other side, of course, is where most of the damage is. For once, I get a review where I can talk about the other side in detail. This never happens. I always just review this one side and briefly show the other because it's almost always the same. But in this case, this side has more to say about it than this side, honestly. As you can see, all of the scratched up, damaged paint. Really nice touch. Again, I definitely would have preferred if it was even more scratched up like it is in the movie. But what we have is very nice. I absolutely love the fact that the scrapes go beyond just here in the middle. You can see them behind the wheel, in front of this wheel. Just all sorts of damage all over that side from where Jackson pushes her up against the side. And there is the base. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. A pretty unique Cruz variant. One that I'm actually pretty glad to have. It's definitely more different than the regular Rusty's Cruz than I thought, and I really like the additional details of all the dirt specks on her. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye now.